Welcome, star beings. It is a great time to be alive. Welcome to Spiritual Ascension, where we honor our soul and serve our life's purpose. My name is Anthony. Thank you for coming over here and checking out this video. We're going to be talking about shadow work. That's right, shadow work. If you haven't seen the video of self-love that I just posted, head over to that video. That one talks about a lot about self-love, and then we talked a little bit about what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to dive a little bit into the subject of shadow work. So maybe you've heard the term before, shadow work, and maybe you haven't. So there's a lot of, you can describe or define shadow work in a lot of different ways, but the easiest way to explain it is this is the darkest part of you that you hide from a lot of people and hide from yourself sometimes. It's the darkest part of you in this lifetime that that you don't want to talk about. It's difficult to talk about it. You don't want to open up about. And sometimes it's not about opening up to other people. Sometimes it's opening up to yourself. You don't want to open up and you don't want to release this baggage that you're holding on to. It's all about our higher self, right? It's all about our higher self and bringing that higher self into the light. And when you do this, you raise your vibration and you ascend. And so when you're holding on to things, you're holding on to regrets, you're holding on to guilt, you're holding on to, I wish I could have done this differently, I should have done this, I should have done that, I can't believe this happened, it's my fault, what happened here, what happened there. All of those things are clouding your aura. All of these things are stopping you from raising your vibration. So you have to go into the shadows, the darkest parts, the alleyways, the parts that are so dark and could be a little bit scary, and you have to come face to face with, maybe it's your fears. Sometimes you have to come face to face with your fears, or come face to face with things that are stopping you from ascending, stopping you from becoming the highest, best version of yourself, but also the highest version vibrational wise of yourself. So that is what shadow work is. That's what shadow work means, is really coming face to face with something that you really don't feel comfortable with. But once you clear that out, you go from an aura that looks like this, because you're holding on to a lot of things. A lot of this could be depression, negativity, guilt, and that's what your aura is currently looking like, right? That is what your energy currently looks like. It's clouded. It's not clear. And so we want to do the shadow work to get from that energy to this energy, where it's nice and clear. You can look right through and you can see everything clear. And this one is going to hold a higher vibration. And that's the whole purpose of spirituality, is getting to that next level, to getting to the highest part of the vibration, so you can do your part to help raise the vibration of this planet on a universal and global level, right? So shadow work. Let me give you an example of something that I feel I want to discuss, and we're going to kind of talk about the kind of process that you have to go through. So, and I'm going to be doing more videos on these, and I'll probably use different experiences, but for this first video on shadow work, I want to use one particular experience, okay? One of the things that I find in life, at least through my spiritual journey and talking to a lot of different people, is that one of the biggest things that affect us as human beings is that we're a very emotional species, right? On this planet, in this lifetime, when I came down into this form, in this vessel, this human vessel, I knew that this was going to be a very emotional life, right? Because here we have a lot of different things that cause all the different emotions. Humans are very emotional creatures, right? We're very emotional, multi-dimensional star beings. And you might not see as much emotion on other planets as that we have here, right? Because it's just different on other planets. Not saying that they're not emotional, not saying they're not loving. Love is all over the universe. But my point is that we're very emotional beings, and that's part of why a lot of us decide to come to this planet to experience certain things that we can't experience on another planet, right? Because here on this planet, we're born, right? The day that we're born with amnesia, and we forget all of our past lives. We forget all of the things that we've learned up until this moment, right? We do. We're born with that, and we know that. We agree to that coming into this planet. So when you're born like that, which is all of us and the entire planet, you forget that there is a life after death, that our soul is eternal, that our soul has always been here and it'll always be here, and that you understand that death is just another Death is just a closure on this chapter, but the book of your life, the huge book of your life, is just one chapter. It's one chapter of thousands of pages. And when other multidimensional beings understand this, they don't hold on to things like humans do. But to experience why humans hold on to these things, or to experience just the experience itself of holding on to something that other multidimensional beings don't do unless they incarnate into this lifetime, you have to come to planets like Earth to experience that. So with that being said, know that everything is in divine order and everything happens for a reason. So your spiritual energy on this planet, you come into this planet, you're born, you know it's going to be an emotional roller coaster your entire life. You've agreed to this, so you come down to this planet, you go through life, and something happens, right? Something happens. Let's say, and we can use so many different examples, and I will in different lifetimes, but for this video, we're going to use death, okay? We're going to use death of a loved one. So let's say that you are a father, okay, and you lost your wife, or you're a wife and you lost your husband, or you're a husband and wife that lost your child. You know, you lost your son or you lost your daughter. You can be a brother that lost your sister. You could be a sister that lost your brother. We're going to talk about lost life and how that affects us in this lifetime, and that affects us as an emotional human being. So sometimes, and you might be going through this yourself, or you might know somebody very close to you that's going through this, but when we lose a loved one, it causes a lot of negative emotion in us, right? Because we're depressed, we're sad. Sometimes we blame ourselves for that death. Sometimes we tell ourselves, if I was there 1 hour earlier, I could have prevented this. Sometimes we tell ourselves, if I didn't move to that city, this would never have happened. Sometimes we tell ourselves, if I would have left the house just 2 minutes earlier, I wouldn't have been in that accident, and so wouldn't have passed away. And as emotional creatures, which is something very normal for a human to do, we hold on to that and we blame ourselves. And when you blame yourselves for something, and trust me, no matter what happened, it's not your fault. Understand that. No matter what happened, you could not have prevented it. Why? Because it happened in divine order, okay? Whatever happened in divine order. It was meant to happen. It was not a coincidence. It was not a mistake. It was meant to happen, because we are here to learn. We are here to grow as multidimensional star beings, right? We're here to grow. So we beat ourselves up for things that we truly have no control over. I promise you, if you would have left 2 minutes earlier or 2 minutes later, or if you would have didn't move to this place or you didn't move to that place, whatever happened was still going to happen. It might have happened at a different time, but it was still going to happen because it was in divine order. You might have missed, it could have happened earlier, it could be happening later, but you're not gonna avoid you're not gonna avoid divine order. Everything happens for a reason, 1,000,000%. That is not a phrase, that is the honest truth. Everything is in divine order. If you lost somebody you loved, it's not your fault. There was nothing you could have done. And if you say to yourself, I wish I would have told this person I love them. I wish I would have told them that how much I cared about them before they died. I didn't. We had an argument. The last time I spoke to them, we had an argument. And now they're gone forever. And I don't get to say how much I love them and how sorry I am. Time out. Yeah, you do. Dad, I want you to know that I'm sorry for what happened. And I'm sorry for being so angry. And I wish you were here so I can tell you I love you and how sorry I am. But I know where you are right now, you can hear me. And I love you and I apologize. And I just want you to know that you were a great father and I enjoyed every moment of my time with you. Thank you. He just heard you. That's it. You're done. Honestly, I promise. That's it. You're done. You might not feel better immediately, but you just close the door. You're done. Like, okay, move on. You're going from this now to this, right? You're clearing that out. So that's not how shadow work necessarily works. That's just giving you an example of how we say that we can't do something. I wish we could talk to them. Talk to them. They can hear you right now. They can hear you. If you wish you can say something or you want to apologize for something, apologize. They forgive you. When we pass over, as soon as we leave this life and we pass over to the next, to the universe. We go back home, is like I call it. We go back to source energy. When we do that, immediately everything is understood, meaning that you understand that there was contracts written by you, by everybody else, and that whatever happened meant to happen. There is no mistake. There is no oops. It was scripted. It was written. That doesn't mean that your life, you don't have free will in your life and you can't make decisions on this planet. But what that means is that key points were written down and agreed to upon coming here, because you have to learn these experiences. So if you have a loved one that has passed away in this lifetime, my heart goes out to you. And I mean that sincerely. My heart, my soul, the love that I have for all of mankind, for all star seeds, for all multidimensional beings, for all star beings, my love goes out to you. And I myself have lost people in my life, and I myself am currently going through a lot of these, going through my shadow work to overcome these, because I will not be able to reach the highest ascension level, the highest vibration on this planet, until I can clear out all that negative energy, and I can, like I showed you with the clear cup, become centered again, right? And so right now I'm centered, but you have to go through the shadow work to get there. So what do I mean by this? Now, let me kind of break down the shadow work real quick so you get a little bit understanding. I want to get a little bit more specific. So if you lost a loved one, ask yourself, what works for me is writing it down. I would write down, okay, what do I feel? Okay, I'm depressed. Okay, I'm sad. Okay, I feel guilty. Okay, let's just concentrate on those three, because you can go on and on and on, but it's all going to be the same, right? So I'm depressed. Okay, stop right there. Why am I depressed? Because I miss that person. Okay, why do I miss that person? Because I love that person. Okay, them passing, knowing that they're with God source energy, they're with all the other star beings in the universe, they're being loved right now. Why does that currently make me depressed? Because I feel guilty. Okay, why do I feel guilty? Well, because I think I could have prevented that from happening. Okay, so you go through these steps and you look and you dive deeper and you ask the question. So you start off with this, and then you break it down. You break down go through each emotion and break it down on paper. Why? And then you go to yourself and say, depression. Okay, why am I depressed? Because of this and this and this. And then when you get to that last part, and there's no more deeper you can go on the depression part, you're still going to talk about the guilty part, why you feel guilty, why you're sad, all these different things, right? So once you get down to the lowest layer, it's like an onion. You've gotten all the layers written down. Now you broke down why you feel a certain way about that certain event through that certain emotion, sadness, certain emotion, guilt, right? And you take each one and you break them down. And once you do this is going into the shadows. This is actually shadow work. You break it down, then you have to come to a realization, right? You have to come to a realization that everything is in divine order. There is nothing you could have done. I promise you, there's nothing you could have done to prevent that. You were not meant to prevent that, because if you were meant to prevent that, you would have, right? You would have prevented it, but you didn't, because you were not meant to. Meaning that sometimes you'll hear on the news, and by the way, negative energy, the news, I stay away from it, but sometimes you'll read stories or you hear from people about miracles that happen, that oh my God, this person almost lost their life, but they were saved because they were meant to be saved. That was a lesson for both parties, right? For the person that almost passed away and the person that saved, it was a lesson. If you were supposed to save them, you would have. Not because you were at work, or because you missed that phone call, or because you went to work 1 hour later, or if you took a different route, this wouldn't have happened. Stop blaming yourself. There is nothing you could have done, because if you were supposed to do something, it would have happened, and you weren't supposed to. This is meant for a reason. So now you have to say, well, I don't have this individual in my life anymore. I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive myself, right? I feel guilty because I think that if I left just 5 minutes earlier, I could have avoided that, and it's all my fault. Once you break that down and you realize that's the root of it, then you have to say, you have to be man or woman enough to say, I forgive myself for that. I forgive myself for feeling guilty. I understand that there was nothing I could possibly do. I understand that it happened for a reason, okay? That you might not sleep better at night right away, right? You might not sleep better at night, but you're working through the shadow work, right? And sometimes you have to keep coming back to it, and you have to keep breaking it down, and you have to keep telling yourself, I forgive myself for that. Not because you did anything wrong, right? Not because you did anything wrong. So when you say, I forgive myself, sometimes when you feel guilty about something and that person has passed, and we're talking about passing, right? That person has passed, you want them to forgive you, right? That's the ultimate goal, right? You feel guilty and only one person can forgive you. You have this mindset, only one person can forgive me, and that's the person that passed away, and he or she isn't here to forgive me. So now I'm going to live with this guilt the rest of my life. That is why that alone, and only in this instance, because there's different scenarios, that is why you have to forgive yourself, because he or she is not here to forgive you. And trust me, there's nothing to even forgive, because it was supposed to happen. You did nothing wrong in the first place, but you still feel like you want them to forgive you. So the best way to fix this in the shadow work, and this is just one example of many examples, you gotta forgive yourself, right? You don't have to really forgive yourself because you didn't do anything wrong, but if you're holding on to that you did do something wrong, and you know that person can't be here to forgive you, just know that they forgive you, and now forgive yourself, because it's gonna make you feel better. When you say, I forgive myself, you're not saying it because you did something wrong, you're saying it because it's truly gonna manifest, and you're gonna feel better, right? Because we do manifest our words. Whatever we say, our words are so powerful. They manifest reality. So if you can forgive yourself, even if you're not guilty, and you're not, by the way, but if you can forgive yourself, that's almost as good as having them come to you and say they forgive you, because that's what you truly want, but it's not gonna happen. You can talk to them. You can talk to your loved ones at any given time, and they can hear you. So feel free to tell them that you love them and you're sorry, but don't do it more than once, because you don't have to keep beating yourself up over it. It's not worth it. And so these are things that we avoid in life, we don't want to confront it because it brings us sadness. But once you confront it and you break it down, and then you forgive yourself, and you say, you know what, there's nothing I could have done. There's nothing absolutely I could have done. It happened in divine order, and I know it happened for a reason, and it was meant because I'm here to experience this, right? I'm meant to experience this. Once you do that, then you start taking a lot of that negativity. It starts to finally start fading away. It slowly starts fading away. For example, we got our clear cup here, right? But I'm going to put a couple drops in here just to give you an example. So here you were at the beginning of your shadow work, right? You're working on a couple things. So here's your aura. And then now, after working through, you've actually forgiven yourself, and now you're able to move on. Now, you're not 100%, right? But look at that. Look how much clearer it is, right? So you're working through it. And eventually, this is going to get completely clear. Your cup's going to be 100% clear, and your aura is going to be 100% centered, and you're going to be okay. And trust me, you're always going to be okay. You're not alone. Everybody goes through this. Everybody goes through having to deal with their shadows. But understand too, if you avoid it and you hide from it and you don't address it and you don't go into the shadows and work on these issues that you have, number one, you're not going to clear your aura. Number two, you're going to limit your ascension. You're going to limit the vibration that you're able to use in this lifetime. And then you're going to limit the amount of manifestation that you can actually create, because you are a multidimensional being that can manifest instantly. But you can't manifest when you're sitting over here. You got to manifest. You have to clear everything out in order to manifest. So you have to eat proper. You have to have a clear head. You can't hold on to grudges. You have to take all the negativity out of you. You have to think positively. You have to look into the shadows and do the work. It's a lot of hard work. That's why people avoid it. Shadow work is not easy. Shadow work, sometimes you have to go through the same issue. Sometimes, like for a death of a relative, you have to go into the shadows and work on this over and over again to finally start clearing up a lot of that guilt or whatever you're holding on to, whatever those emotions that you're holding on to. It takes a while sometimes, or sometimes it just takes one time. It really depends on you. But continue to do it, and I promise you, you're going to feel better about everything. Understand, again, in the spiritual realm, we all have a soul, right? We're all going to ascend. We're all going to ascend. We're all going to, when we die, we all go to one place. there is none of this down there. There is no down there. There's only up here, and it's all love. That's all it is. It's all love. 1,000,000% love. And everything happens in divine order. We are all connected. We are all the same, right? We are all the same. We all come from the same source energy, God source energy. We're all connected. Every multidimensional being is connected. And when you start to really dive deep into spirituality and you understand the concepts of how reality works, how life's work, how life lessons work, then it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do the shadow work, because the more you're spiritual, the more you understand the concept of souls and past lives and purposes and soul contracts. The more you really understand that in spirituality, the easier the shadow work's going to be. My shadow work for me is always a challenge, but it's easy. It really is. Compared to what it was so many years ago, it's a lot easier now to work through it, because I understand how the universe works. I understand how life works. I understand the process of coming to life and the process of death, and what happens before and what happens after. And because I understand that, I'm able to do the shadow work a lot easier, and it's just a lot more smoother. So you're not alone. You're going to get there. If you want to be where I'm at, keep working on it. And believe me, I'm at a point right now where I'm happy, but I want to be where other spiritual leaders are at. I want to be at their level. So I'm working to get to their level. And if you're at my level, congratulations. And if you're at their level, I'm getting there. I'm moving there. I'll be there soon, right? But if you're not at that level and you're struggling, don't stop. Life is a struggle sometimes, but you can make it happen. You're not alone. You're not alone. So many people are going through this just like you. So many people are going through this just like you. And understand that and accept that, because it's truth. It's fact. And so this is just shadow work. Again, the whole purpose of this video is just kind of touch just a brief concept of what shadow work is, giving you an example, kind of talking to you on some of the tips that have helped me how to get through some of these things. But there's much more to dive into on shadow work. So there's going to be more videos coming for shadow work for sure. And one thing I can definitely recommend is black obsidian. Okay, black obsidian. When you do shadow work, and it's a black obsidian stone. When I do shadow work, I always hold a black obsidian stone with me, right? Because this really helps. This really helps with the shadow work. The black obsidian does. And I'm going to talk about crystals in another video. And when I do talk about crystals, I'll definitely share some of my favorite crystals that I use on a daily basis. And when it comes to I'm just looking over this. So yeah, when it comes to different things that we have to do in life, like self-love, like shadow work, we can use stones and crystals to help us get through that. Okay, so definitely know that that's available to you as well. And if you're interested in the crystals, I'll be dropping a video on that one pretty soon, so you can definitely check that one out. Just go over to my playlist and you'll see a whole list of different videos and different topics I'm going to be talking about. But crystals is definitely a powerful tool that you can use to help you clear out energies, to help you balance energies, to help protect you from energies, and help heal and help you move forward and help you in this life's journey, because this is a journey. This is one of many lives that you've lived, and you were put here. You agreed to come here to learn certain things, and you just want to make sure you're on track, because again, to close out the shadow work on this video at least, if you run from it and you don't resolve them in this lifetime, the chance of it repeating itself in another lifetime is probably going to happen. As I would say, it's almost 100% chance that it's going to happen, because it's something that you have to work through. It's something you have to deal with. And if you hold on to baggage and in this lifetime and you pass away, you're carrying a lot of that baggage to another. It doesn't mean necessarily your next lifetime, but you will have another life. It could be on another planet. It could be on this one again, but you will have another life where you have to go through the things that you were supposed to learn here, but you just didn't learn because you hid from it. You ran from it. Don't do that. Dive into the shadows and get yourself to a more centered balance of your chakras and energy. Raise your vibration, brighten your aura, raise your vibration, and definitely ascend, right? So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Stay positive and have an energetic rest of your day. I'll see you on the next video, everybody. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye.